Alright guys, I'm back. It has been quite a while since we took the BMW apart and prepared everything for powder coating. I didn't have a lot of time to work on the BMW during the last weeks because I actually just got married. That gave the powder coater the time to actually finish all of the parts, which I just picked up, so let's see what they look like. Let's start with the frame, which got powder coated in semi-gloss black. The frame already looks super nice, so let's have a look at all of the other parts because I did not powder coat all of the parts. Some are actually Cerakoted and I'd love to see what those look like. Ooh, this is exciting. Wow, look at that. This is very, very nice. Nice, okay. Those look very good. All right, now let's move on to the Cerakoted parts, which are, for example, the brake calipers in the front. So let's see what those look like. And I decided to Cerakote these because Cerakote is very durable when it comes to chemicals and also scratches and stuff like that. But especially with these, when you have the brake fluid, that makes a big difference. Nice. The only downside with Cerakote is that you can see every surface imperfection. It literally is so thin that you see every little bump. Nice. Look at this. That looks so good. Something I also got Cerakoted are all of the screws that are visible. Look at this, that is so nice. Especially since the Cerakote is so durable, I think you can use those without having to be super careful. This is kind of like Christmas, but with a lot of parts, I'm more anxious than actually like excited to unwrap them because everything looks great, but I had one part where I found like a minor issue and I had to bring it back to the powder coat, and it's quite far away, so it's always a hassle to do that. The problem with that was that, if you remember from the last video, I couldn't disassemble the drive shaft on my own because you need a special tool for that. Fortunately, I found a BMW workshop that could do it for me because none in the area had this special tool anymore, just one which is 1.5 hours away. So I drove there and the guy was super helpful and he helped me to get this apart. You have to lock the drive shaft in one position with this special tool to be able to unscrew the nut, and then you have to use a puller to get into the tight space to actually pull the drive shaft apart. And now that everything is painted, you have to use the same tool for the reassembly as well. So finding that little spot, especially on the swing arm, was a little bit of a pain, but anyways, that's getting repainted, and then the workshop picks it up, put everything back together, and then I can pick it up from them. So that's moving forward. I also used the time last week to clean the engine, which to be honest is an annoyingly tedious task. It takes so long, but since I didn't take it apart, I had to do it by hand, and I think I found a good process of how to get it to a point where it actually looks good. So I'm going to show you that in the next video. Should you be debating to take the whole engine apart, and if that is something that you dare to do, I would highly encourage you to do it, because if you get the parts vapor blasted, that would be so much easier and you would get the best results imaginable. Because look at the carbs that I got vapor blasted before and after. They just look amazing. Anyways, I decided to not take the engine apart because it runs great, and for that I feel like we got to a very acceptable result, which is good because now we can move on and deal with all the repair and maintenance tasks that we have to do with this engine. And I have my list right here. We have to install a new starter motor, a new timing chain, new oil filter and air filter, new pushrod tubes, new seals wherever needed. This engine leaks in so many places that we definitely need a few of those. And then I also need to adjust the valve clearance and probably a few other things. Apart from the engine, we have another list where it says new wheel, steering head and swing arm bearings, rebuild the carbs, rebuild the front calipers and new pads for the rear brake, rebuild the forks, put everything back together, then reinstall all the wiring, and in the end, tune the bike so it runs great. So we have a lot to do. I already ordered all the spare parts that we need for all of these tasks. Hopefully I haven't missed anything because we need to get through them very quickly. I know my timelines have been awful throughout this project, but this time I definitely have to make the deadline because I'm actually gonna move to the States in a few weeks. So the bike has to be done before that. My wife is already over there since 6 months and now it's time for me to move. So we only have a few weeks left in the shed and the bike is still in pieces, but I think we're well prepared to get this done. I'm very excited to put everything back together, and I'm also very excited for what's to come. If you have any ideas or wishes for the next project, let me know down below. As always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.